Today on the CTV News at 5, the NHL is coming back, but will the fans?
I'm past that. It's funny how other things fill a void that hockey once had. So for me, I'll watch games again, but I'm not going to go to games.
Plus, a preliminary hearing gets underway for a Lethbridge woman and her 2 adult children after investors were defrauded out of $1 million. And how thousands of dollars and hundreds of pounds of food are raised to help drive away hunger in Lethbridge.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. NHL hockey could be back on by the end of next week. With a tentative deal now in place, games are set to begin January the 19th, ending a 114-day lockout. The 10-year agreement gives players a 50% share of the revenue. That's down from 57%. The league has agreed to a $64.3 million salary cap. That's up from $60 million. If ratified, the deal means a condensed 48 or maybe a 50-game season. But the question remains, now that the NHL is back, will the fans come back too? Daryl Rummel reports.
The tempo at Lethbridge Pronghorns practice is high, but nothing like the pace of the shortened NHL season that Chris Versteeg is getting ready for.
A little rest. I said to myself, I'm not going to look at the schedule because it'll probably be depressing to see a lot of back-to-backers. But that's what comes with this, and that's what you got to deal with.
Insiders say teams will average more than 3.5 games per week, each of those of the utmost importance to players.
You got to really give thanks to the guys that were there on a daily basis and work their butts off to get the deal they could and what deal they thought was best they could. And if they do believe it, then I believe it too.
But are those games important to fans after 113 days of frustration?
Without you, please come back. Oh, hockey, please come back.
Hockey has indeed come back. The song and dance is over. But will the fans who vowed to never go back be there once the puck drops?
This is the place to support the Hurricanes game, support local. They're going to sit there and fight and be locked out. You know what? This is where we should be supporting them. Local, not now.
I'm not going to forgive this season. I'm pretty much done with the NHL for the rest of the season. Big Oilers fan. It's been a hard time being a fan of them for a number of years now, but I'm going to take the season off.
I'm indifferent, and I've been indifferent for 2 months.
I'm still a little angry, but I'll watch because I'm a hockey fan, but mostly indifferent. I found other things to do, so it wasn't a big deal.
Still, in a game that oftentimes offers no apologies, there were plenty to be heard on Sunday.
And we're apologetic. We're sorry that we put people through that process and they had to delay the game that they liked the most.
A reduced schedule has already wiped out nearly $1 billion in revenue this season, with 480 games scrapped. Whether fans issue players and owners alike a 113-day delay of game penalty by turning their backs on the game that for so long turned its back on them remains to be seen. Or not seen, if some fans have their way. Daryl Rummel, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Southern Albertans are taking a stand on Facebook, too. On our CTV Lethbridge Facebook page, Donna wrote, if fans would have a lockout now and not watch or go to the games, maybe, just maybe, the players will realize there is more in life than being overpaid and underappreciated of the career they have. Joe added, it would be nice if the stands didn't fill and the televised games weren't watched. A bunch of self-entitled, greedy people on both players and the management. Well, Nicole says she'll be spending her money and time on the WHL. And local businesses are hoping that fans will rekindle their love for the game and boost their bottom line. Bert and Max says moving NHL merchandise during the lockout has been difficult. The store usually offers a shuttle service to and from Calgary Flames games, and they've lost out on revenue there as well. At Park Place Shopping Centre, sales have been slow at Jersey City. They say they made up for the shortfall by selling NFL apparel, but are hopeful that fans will come back. Local watering holes are hoping to cash in as well. Shark Club employees say business has been down noticeably over the past few months, and they're hoping to see more fans now that it's game on.
Basically, we had an entire package of stuff we wanted to roll out the moment we found out the lockout ended. Everything involved from the small signs on those pucks right over there to the big signs that are lined up all along Mayor McGrath.
I think it will pick up. I mean, people love hockey, right? So they're gonna come buy stuff. They're gonna want to support their team regardless of lockout issues.
I had one customer say I just want to spit on that jersey right there. Just that's their kind of attitude. Not everybody feels the same way, but the majority of the people are very unhappy with what's been going on.
Not surprisingly, all of the retailers we spoke to today say they're happy the NHL will soon be back in action. Okay, to Dory Rossiter now. And Dory, we were talking that there's going to be a lot of different weather coming out. Snow, sun, and of course the wind. That wind warning is still in place.
Yeah, I know the southwest corner of the province is getting and going to get hit pretty hard overnight tonight. Some areas could see gusts exceeding 100 kilometers per hour. So that's on the agenda. Also on the agenda, we've got a chance of some snow tomorrow night, rain on Wednesday, and then a period of snow on Thursday. So it's a real mixed bag. Temperatures positive, then negative. You'll see it in the 5-day forecast. It's an interesting mix. Let's just leave it at that, and I'll tell you all about it in a couple of minutes.
I am so glad you're the one following this story. Well, Blood Chief Charles Weaselhead and 3 members of the Band Council are heading for Ottawa, where First Nations leaders will be meeting with Prime Minister Stephen Harper on Friday. Band councillors say they're looking forward to the meeting, which they view as a first step to restoring the relationship with the federal government and First Nations. Members of the Blood Tribe Council have acknowledged the efforts of the Idle No More movement and say they will continue to support efforts to raise concerns. The Blood Tribe has issued a statement saying the federal government must immediately stop 8 bills that affect First Nations.
What does it all mean, and what will the outcome be? Everybody's waiting for that. And day by day, we're not quite sure exactly how this meeting is going to unfold on Friday. We'll be updated by our own technicians. So we'll be distributing the information as soon as possible, as soon as we receive it. And hopefully there's a positive outcome for everybody here.
The Blood Tribe has issued a statement saying that it's disappointed in the representation from MPs Jim Hillier and Ted Menzies. The band says neither MP has contacted the tribe, met with Band Council, or made any effort to visit their communities. Lethbridge Regional Police are investigating an alleged sexual assault in Coaldale Sunday night. Police have released a photo from surveillance cameras of a man who is considered to be a suspect. Investigators say an 18-year-old woman reported that she'd been grabbed and fondled while walking along the 2100 block of 20th Street in Coaldale last night. She says the man had been watching her in the 7-Eleven store earlier and approached her and then tried to start a conversation. The suspect reportedly fled the area after the woman called 911. Officers used a dog to search the area but couldn't locate the man. He's described as Caucasian, in his late 30s. He was wearing a blue hoodie with a burgundy plaid jacket and dark-colored hat and gloves. Anyone with information is urged to contact either Lethbridge Regional Police or Crime Stoppers. And a preliminary hearing got underway today for 3 Lethbridge residents who are charged with defrauding investors out of more than $1 million. 42-year-old Anthony Pittarelli, 38-year-old Claudia Pittarelli, and their mother, 63-year-old Marissa Campanelli Pittarelli, are facing charges of fraud over $5,000, theft over $5,000, possession of property obtained by crime, as well as a charge of money laundering. The charges stem from an alleged Ponzi scheme where investors were promised high rates of return through the resale of event tickets. The police say investors were paid with money from other investors. The Crown intends to call 16 witnesses during the preliminary hearing, which is scheduled to last all week. And police say that a man who crashed his car in South Lethbridge over the weekend may have been in medical distress. The 76-year-old man was driving his vehicle in the 2200 block of 10th Avenue South when he slowly drifted across the center line and then collided with a parked vehicle. Several people who saw the crash stopped to provide first aid, but the driver was pronounced dead at the Chinook Regional Hospital. A 52-year-old man from Waasa, BC in the East Kootenay is dead following a single vehicle crash. That one happened around 1:30 Sunday morning. Cranbrook RCMP say the 1986 Ford pickup truck was heading north when it went off the road on Highway 93-95 near the Waasa rest stop. The truck went into the ditch and rolled. The driver wasn't wearing a seatbelt and died instantly. No name has been released. RCMP are continuing to investigate. A Canadian on death row did not get a reprieve from Montana's outgoing governor today. Ronald Smith was hoping Brian Schweitzer would give him clemency as a final act in the governor's office. Smith was convicted of murdering 2 men in Montana in 1982, and he had asked for the death penalty originally, but then changed his mind. The issue of clemency will now fall to Governor Steve Bullock, who was sworn in this morning. And the Fort Macleod Family Medical Clinic has closed its doors. One of the 2 doctors that had been working out of the centre is on leave, while the other is resigned. The closure does not affect the rest of the hospital. Some areas of North Lethbridge will be without power tomorrow as crews work to upgrade overhead power lines. The outage will affect about 30 residents in the area of 23rd to 25th Street North and 6th and 7th Avenue North. Those residents will be without power after 8:30 tomorrow morning, but the lights should be back on around 4 o'clock. Well, although the holiday break is over for many here in Canada, this is Christmas Day for Orthodox Christians around the world. Russian President Vladimir Putin celebrated Christmas Eve in a small church service, and in Moscow, the Orthodox Patriarch led the Christmas liturgy in the Cathedral of Christ the Savior. Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev and his wife attended the ceremony. The holiday is marked today according to the Julian calendar. Well, what do a singing weather personality, the coolest cop ever, and a musical mayor all have in common? They were all on stage Saturday helping to drive away hunger in Lethbridge. That's the sweet singing voice of our own Dory Rossiter, and there is Constable Doug Sokolowski on drums, Mireko Dodik on the guitar. The two joined Moon Dancer and Dory Rossiter on stage at the McKillop United Church on Saturday as part of their annual food drive concert. The fundraiser helped bring in close to $6,000 in cash, along with a large non-perishable food donation. Food bank officials say events like this, right after Christmas, are very important as their shelves begin to look pretty bare.
What a fantastic way to start the new year, and some of those New Year's resolutions to kind of be a little bit more involved. Well, this is a wonderful start to that, and hopefully it takes off and people are involved with our food banks all year round and not just at Christmas. Christmas is obviously our busiest year, but we need that need all the time.
And the food bank says that their biggest need remains canned goods. Well, there are only 358 shopping days until Christmas, but Park Place Shopping Centre is hoping you'll be ready to get back into the shopping group before then. Today they announced Bath & Body Works along with Tutti Frutti frozen yogurt will be opening up in the mall. It's the shopping centre's 25th anniversary. And the city of Lethbridge launched its Christmas tree collection program over the weekend. It's estimated that almost 80,000 trees have been diverted from the landfill since the city began collecting Christmas trees about 20 years ago. The discarded trees are collected from back alleys and then chipped for mulch. This year's campaign is a fundraiser for Gilbert Patterson's grade 8 students who will be traveling to Quebec on a school trip.
For them, it's a chance to live in the French culture, eat French food, just really immerse themselves into French culture. And so part of this is a fundraiser for their upcoming trip in June. Besides a fundraiser, it's a great opportunity to give back to the environment, to collect trees and divert them from the landfill.
The mulch can be used in planting beds to reduce the need for weeding and watering. It's stored at Penequin Park and is free for the public to use. Onto the markets now, where the dollar was one of the few markets that closed higher today. Here are the day's closing numbers.